Am I getting healthier? Or am I just developing an eating disorder? I challenged myself to get to 10% body fat before my 40th birthday, following a bit of a midlife crisis. I'm now 12 weeks in and I'm starting to question just how healthy this is, both psychologically and physically. Along the way, I've had some realizations about my past relationships with food. This week, I'm speaking to Paul Wiltshire, cognitive hypnotherapist and life coach and a former PT, who now runs his own therapy and coaching business inspired by his own experiences with addiction. Having previously competed in men's physique bodybuilding competitions, I want to get his advice on completing this goal and to explore the reality of dropping to such a low body fat percentage. My first question, why is this goal becoming so common?
We are sold an idea that we will feel better by looking better.
Yeah.
Now, looking better is one thing that can help us feel more confident, and I think there's a sense of pride that comes from having a structure and a routine and through carrying out kind of goals that we set for ourselves. But the problem is that we then think the happiness that I'm seeking is going to come from the body. Because bodies can be sold to, there is an emphasis on the external, whether it's the external body or whether it's stuff, but there's an emphasis on the material, because that's what can be sold to us. Finding happiness is free, but they don't ever want us to believe that. So I think there's this selling of this idea that if you have more wealth, more muscle, more likes on social media, then you will be happy. And I think what most people are finding more and more these days is like, oh, I'm not.
Hello, I'm somewhere in southwest England, which is lovely. Look at this, very picturesque. Being in a big city and then like coming out is always nice. Coming out, I'm coming out. No, when you live in a big city and then when you get to kind of hang out in the countryside, it's lovely. I do like it. I just hate people, I think. I hate too many people, you know. I like dogs better. As I had my midway scans the other day and found out that I was 17% body fat, not 11%, which would have been preferable, because then I would have had to, or then I could have stopped early. Thinking about having to lose 7% more body fat in 10 weeks seems like it's quite difficult. I don't want to say it's impossible. It might be. I'm not going to say it though, and I'm not going to not try to do it. So I think no matter what happens, I'm going to get as close as I can, and I want to do it as healthily as I can. I think there might come a point towards the end where I might need to take things quite extreme, I guess, if I'm going to get anywhere close. So it will get a lot harder, and it probably will kind of teeter, that's a good word, isn't it? Teeter on the tip of not being so healthy. But is that the reality of this goal that I'm trying to do? I don't know. We'll find out.
So I grew up the youngest of 5 children, initially a fairly traditional household, Catholic. That did a number on me. With hindsight, I think I could say, I knew from being young that I was gay, but I didn't have the language for it. I grew up, I suppose, with identity issues because of that. And maybe just because we do, because human. It was always important to me how I looked, and I mean that in the broad sense of the term, in that it was important for me to be popular. It was important for me to be, I was naughty at school, but I also was a high achiever at school. So it was important that I got the grades. But I was rebellious as well, and I liked drugs from a really young age. Always was interested in I say I was interested in fitness. I wasn't. I wanted to look a certain way. But when I used to go to the gym, I used to go sporadically, and I never really committed to it because I think I also just loved getting like drunk and high. I remember the first time I did ecstasy. I was just in a club and was like, well, why has no one told me about this? I'll be doing this every weekend for the rest of my life, which I did for a while, and then suffered the mental health effects of that.
Sure, yeah.
27, I had just finished my master's. I had been smoking a lot of weed and was having a bit of a mental health crisis. Went to live with my sisters for a year, and then ended up moving to South Korea because why not?
Makes sense. Natural progression.
So then I ended up applying for a teaching job in South Korea. Now, all this time, my kind of relationship to fitness and stuff, I'd probably developed quite an addiction to porn, was very insecure about my body still. I hadn't had sex by 28. I'd had a couple of like flings and then kind of moved away because I'd got all fearful.
Yeah.
And because I just got stoned all the time, it was like, oh, it's all right. But I very much like had this, the male image, and it was very much bodybuilders and that, because it was kind of, it started with like Men's Health cover models, and I was like, oh, they're not big enough, and it was like this like progression of that. I lived with Americans and Canadians. Now, if you know a lot of Americans and Canadians, how they're very different from British people is they tell you how cool you are and how awesome you are and good looking you are. I had this big confidence boost of like, oh, actually, like, I think I'm quite a big deal. Like, I think I am actually quite good looking and charming and all of this stuff. And there's a big bodybuilding culture as well in South Korea. Yeah. And I started at this bodybuilding gym, and I had a personal trainer for the first time, and I did this transformation challenge. And I won that. So I basically paid for all the PT. I made real good friends with my PT as well. Yeah. And after I'd finished that challenge, I was like, I'm gonna try steroids, because I'd got ripped, but I was like, I want to get bigger. And basically I started getting a lot of attention.
Like, also exotic out there as well,
exactly.
Right? So,
yeah. It sounds really big-headed, but it kind of was true. It's like I could take my pick. Yeah, it's a small pool there, and I was tall, good-looking, British guy. So I'd been there for 4.5 years. Was kind of like, right, I kind of moved back to London, and I decided I wanted to be a PT when I came back. And so it's all of a sudden my whole identity was around this. COVID hit, and obviously COVID affected us. We didn't really have that control. I lost probably more weight than I'd ever lost because I'm not going to run a cycle whilst. And something though in the mentality, and I saw this with a lot of people when we came out of COVID, it was like double down. So it's like, okay, I couldn't build more muscle in that period. So when I come out, like, I am gonna go for it. Like I started working with coaches that were much more like bodybuilding coaches. I moved back up north where like you've got real good bodybuilding gyms, and I stayed on steroids without a break for 3 years. And I started using, I went back to using Tren, which I hadn't done for ages. I didn't do it a lot, but I did that in 1 or 2 cycles. I used insulin, which can be very dangerous. I only had one little scare with it where I was like, whoa, I'm really dizzy, but I was alert enough to be like, eat some bananas. And when I started this fitness journey, I think being a solid 85k would have been like, a big guy. I got to 100 kg.
Wow.
And then was like, right, 110 next.
There's no stuffing, basically. Yeah.
It just was this continuation. I trained as a therapist at this point, and there started to be this slight disconnect between like what I'm teaching others and then what I'm doing to myself. And then I ended up going to Southeast Asia for 5-6 months, or 5 months I think I ended up in. I remember being in a coffee shop with my journal, crying over the journal. When I always think it's funny, this image of this probably about 97k 6'1" man just crying over his journal, and I'd just written like, I have body dysmorphia. I think I've had it for a very long time, and I probably have developed a bit of an eating disorder. I know that I've come off the steroids. I know I need to make some changes, and I'm absolutely terrified. I think it's because I was like, who will I be without this? I had been using all of that as an armor because I'd never really dealt with past trauma. Well, for a while I couldn't even go to gym. Well, not a bodybuilding gym. Like, I just couldn't be around that because I was too triggering. And then eventually over time, it's like the pendulum had to swing like that. And then now I've found this sweet spot of like, I still like bodybuilding. I still enjoy creating a certain male form. I enjoy the male form from myself and in others. And because I'd done all that deeper work, I'm like, okay, I can now come at this in a different way. And then also did the switch to say, well, actually, I don't really want to coach people in the way that I was. There was a lot of that traditional, like, look at my client here, look at him now, you can look like this. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'll help people with the health, I'll help people create structures and stuff, but I'm not selling an idea of, you achieve this body, you will be happy, because ultimately,
you know that not to be true.
Not if there's other stuff. It might be a piece of the puzzle towards your happiness, but it's definitely not going to be all of it.
I think it's such a fascinating journey that Paul's been on. It seems very full circle that now he helps people with their addictions as a therapist. That must give such good insight through his own lived experience that you wouldn't necessarily find with a therapist who hasn't been through it themselves. And I'm not saying that you must go through the same problems as people to show empathy towards it, but it must be really reassuring for someone who needs help that the person helping them can relate exactly to what they're going through. I also really like his approach to coaching, choosing to work with people looking to make long-term changes to their health, less about the 90-day transformation style fitness influencers that we see plastered all over social media. I had to condense quite a lot of what we spoke about, so if you are interested to know more about Paul, comment below and I'll publish his full story. Anyway, things are cracking on for me in the gym. I'm definitely getting into a solid routine. I'm kind of enjoying it. At least I'm starting to enjoy the results I'm beginning to see. And that is keeping me motivated. Obviously, I'm also doing my running, prepping for that first half marathon, which is in around 6 weeks or so. And I'm still playing badminton a couple of times a week. I realized that I've said throughout the series that I play badminton, but I've not actually proved it yet. So let's take a little road trip now to Broken Strings. You may see a familiar face, Dr. Adrian Arabe, physician extraordinaire and founder of Broken Strings Badminton Club. Seriously, when does this guy sleep? This is just a little match at club night, where obviously I'm curating all my best shots to make me look unbeatable without making a single mistake, cause, well, I'm in charge. Sorry, Jules. This is Jules. Okay, you can have some points. There you go. I've played badminton since I was a kid, and I'd say badminton has pretty much been the only constant in my life. I have the kind of personality where I embrace change, so I like to try new things and pick them up and change my mind all of the time. Something my family would always mention, how I never stuck things out and how there's a cupboard full of my previous hobbies. However, I feel quite differently. I think it's right to try as many new things as you can. I feel like I've got to where I am by adopting that attitude, and it's afforded me some amazing opportunities and experiences. However, badminton seems to ground me. I've had multiple attempts at retiring from the sport, and I'd say my competitiveness has fluctuated over the past few years, but I always come back to it. And it always brings me joy. You know what else brings me joy? When you like and subscribe. And for a limited time only, it's completely free. So go on, give us a click.
When I was working at a classes gym, I remember a woman saying to me once about her body insecurities, and she said, but I mean, you guys wouldn't understand that. And I said, why do you think we all work in the fitness industry?
Yeah.
And she's like, I said, we are so obsessed with ours that we've built our whole life around it. Fitness influencers don't help that because I don't think they're always that open about it. It's like I get really annoyed with fitness people saying like, and the reason it's discipline that gets me to the gym. I'm like, no, it's not, it's obsession.
You like it.
You like it.
Yeah.
I didn't take discipline for me to go to the gym. No, there's the odd day where I'm a bit tired and but ultimately, like, I enjoy it. I'm not nervous when I'm there. It's like my second home. I love training. So I think it's a bit disingenuous, and I don't think it helps people to be like, it's discipline makes me show up, because I also think discipline's a terrible way to do things. It reminds me of nuns. That's the spectre of my Catholic past. We all have insecurities, and I know lots of exceptionally large and aesthetically perfect bodybuilders, and they'll focus on like, but this bit of my bicep, or we've always got something. And I think the more we accept that, I remember when I went back to bodybuilding after this, going like, maybe I will jump back on the steroids because he's bigger than me. And I was like, do you know what? When you were on loads of steroids, you still thought that. So why not just accept that you'll always think that and then crack on? So I think, yeah, you're right. I think we all have it. And the journey we go on with our insecurities is what's maybe a bit different.
It feels so weird that someone like Paul would have similar insecurities to me around his body and appearance. Objectively, he probably has the physique that a lot of guys have in their head as their dream body. Not me though. And he smells bad too. Okay, he doesn't smell bad. He smells like a goddamn bouquet of flowers. Right, I'm making something nice here. Take a look. Steamed fish and steamed egg. It's pretty simple. Chuck some fish in a bamboo steamer, garlic, ginger, chili, the three amigos, bit of soy sauce and some mirin. Steam that for like 8 minutes. The egg is 1/3 eggs, 1/3 water, 1/3 chicken stock. Mix it together. Pour gently into a bowl, cover, steam on full heat for about 5 minutes. Then leave it on the hob, but turn the hob off. Don't you remove that lid, goddammit. Leave it for about 15 minutes, make some slices, add some soy sauce, spring onions and a bit of sesame oil. Nom nom nom. Some veggies too, just a little bit of pak choy with garlic and chili and a bit of oyster sauce. Very simple. I don't stir fry in a lot of oil, just a few sprays, add a little bit of water if needed. Oh yeah, I do heat up a tablespoon of oil to pour over the fish at the end for the sizzle. It's half a tablespoon of oil per portion. It's fine, it's added to the macros. Just serve with some rice and boom, job's a good one. Here's the macros. It's loaded with protein, and because it's fish, there's a lot of it, so it's dead filling. It's a good post-workout meal. Listen to me, bloody gym bro.
I generally don't love transformation challenges when
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle thing, because what you usually see with that is, yes, we can push people into the extremes to transform and then they can't maintain it. So most clients I work with, it would be much more kind of slow, sustainable growth. If we look at the pure science of it, like if you're not losing weight and not gaining weight, you're eating a maintenance.
Yes,
So what you do in a contest prep is your calories come down. Probably every couple of weeks, every week, depending how quickly how early before the show you would start.
Sure.
So I would probably be looking at every couple of weeks dropping your calories. Now it's going to get to a point at the end that will be, because of the goal you have, it will just be a bit unpleasant, right? When you're in contest prep at the last stages, you're starving, you're weak, training's not fun anymore. That's why it's not a sustainable way of living. It gets you absolutely ripped. I mean, this is to get to like 5% body fat, because you have to keep the output high. In fact, what's normally happening is you've got a decrease in calories and an increase in output through cardio. You'll get to a point where you'll stop getting stronger in your training, but that's fine so long as you're kind of maintaining. So you can do one of two things. You can drop calories or you can increase output.
Any way to do the opposite of both and just check?
Just give up on the whole thing and say, right, I'm done now.
I'm in another hotel. It feels weird like being away from home so much, which also makes the challenge far more difficult because I have to plan absolutely everything and what I'm doing. So it basically turns into me just drinking Huel and not having breakfast, and then just hoping that the dinner is manageable, and then trying to get enough protein as well. The biggest thing I have noticed, my body has changed. That's good. That's part of why I'm doing this. And I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I prefer it this way. I feel more confident in myself. I feel my body kind of reflects how fit I feel, and that's nice. Kind of looking back on when I was a lot younger and a lot more naive, and how I mistreated myself when I was kind of in my early 20s, and I went through a phase of basically starving myself. I was not in a very good place emotionally, and go through a breakup and all that sort of stuff. I don't think I consciously thought at that time I got dumped because of how I looked, but I think just because I was quite depressed about it. I didn't have an appetite, so I kind of naturally just lost weight through that and through being very mopey. But from that, I kind of carried it on. There was a point where I was conscious that I was doing it and being proud of myself for like feeling hungry and for skipping meals and, lasting as long as I could without eating. I lost a lot of weight very quickly. I had a lot of physical side effects from doing that, as well as mental health ones. I remember feeling so dizzy, like all the time. Didn't have a libido at all. I remember thinking something's wrong because I could not get an erection. I was like 21, 22, something like that. At that age, you should be getting them every 5 seconds. Basically, that all stopped because I then got back with the guy that dumped me. I probably subconsciously related the fact that I got back with this person because I went through that process of losing all that weight and being very skinny, very unhealthy. So I probably equated being skinny to being loved. My body needs to be this way in order for me to have affection. It's a hard one to navigate, I think, because I do like how I look better now. The juxtaposition of seeing how I am now versus the first day is like night and day, and it really shocked me actually, because it kind of shows how little perception I have about how I look. Basically what I'm trying to say is none of this is straightforward, and none of it is black and white. There's so much grey. I think when I originally started this whole kind of process, my mind was more fixed toward this kind of challenge being quite negative. It has shown me that I am happier looking a certain kind of way as well, and I feel not guilt, but I think it would be easy for me to just say that is shallow. there's too much of a nuance there. I think I'm finding it more about accepting that that is part of me. I think it's when it becomes this extreme kind of goal that you must, for the example of this whole series, you must be 10% body fat. I don't think that's good, and I don't think that that's, you know, healthy. Although technically all my health markers and everything that we went through on my first clinic visit with my vital metrics, it said I was healthy. I was already healthy. I have had an excellent VO2 max. That's not average, that wasn't good, it was excellent. I was already extremely fit, but my aesthetic didn't look that way, and I get judged on that. After all of this challenge, and say I hit it and I'm 0.5% body fat person, that it's not going to make me feel happier, I don't think. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. And I haven't cracked a joke in ages, so knock knock, who's there? I don't do knock knock jokes, so I'm gonna have to leave that one.
You shouldn't be getting to that level of hunger and energy loss until probably like the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
What I would be doing is I would be tapering down your calories slightly now, and then just monitoring how you feel with like your recovery, with your energy. After about a week of that, I'd maybe then increase my output a bit on the cardio. So say I'm going to do an extra 10 minutes per session. You'd want to bring your calories down and bring the output up in a way where you're still feeling pretty all right. I'd say like by week 4, you're like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry a lot. And then there's also ways to manage that. So it might be that you go, right, I'm actually going to potentially start using a bit of a fasting protocol and miss breakfast because I notice that I get hungrier in the evening.
Yeah.
You're kind of taking it to a level where you're like, this isn't how I want to live. You just need to remember that.
Yeah.
You're doing it for this one thing, and you go, okay, yeah, this is crap. It's good to know this is crap because I don't want to live like this. And I think that's one of the things I say to people as well when they have a particular fitness goal and they're looking at a fitness model. I'm like, do you want to live that life?
Yeah.
The nicest, like the best bodybuilders I've met, and I know so many great ones, but are the ones who like they're family guys and stuff, and they will absolutely, if they commit to a competition, they'll be like, my family will not suffer because of this. Like obviously there's certain sacrifice, they're not going to go on holiday maybe in that time.
Yeah.
Certain things they might have to miss out on, like they won't eat a certain meal, but they're like, but I won't miss sitting down at the table. I won't not take my kid to the park because I'm too tired. But yeah, I think I admire that of going like, okay, I'm going to do the struggle, but it's my struggle.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be then
forced upon other people.
Yeah. I sometimes feel like a dick by saying this, but I'm lean most of the time and I eat a lot.
Good for you. Right, I'm back out running. Had a few smaller runs this week, but I'm going for the big 10 miles that I couldn't manage in the last video because I pulled my calf. It was a whole thing. Just go and watch. It isn't that exciting to watch me run. I do pull some weird faces though when I'm out and about. And for some reason, I decided to let you know how many miles I've done by using hand signals this time. Fun. A lot of what I spoke about with Paul really hit home, possibly because we have some kind of shared experiences around growing up gay in quite a small town at about the same time, although he's a lot older than me, of course. When he spoke about his favourite kind of bodybuilders being dads who wouldn't let their families suffer just because they're prepping for a competition, that definitely reframed some thinking of mine. Not that I've really experienced much hangriness yet, but I've jokingly said that Jaden will have to endure my wrath when I get to that stage. And because he's super supportive, and I know he just would, he's very mindful and sensitive about how I might be feeling through this. However, this is not his cross to bear. This is my challenge. It's not his, and honestly, I think taking it out on him, whether it's a joke or not, is just unacceptable. As Paul said, it's a privilege to be in the position where I'm able to do this. It's fine to have this kind of goal, but I want to be really mindful, however I'm feeling, that I'm not going to take it out on anybody else. Someone's ears are burning. Look who it is, it's Jaden. So not only am I doing my first half marathon in a few weeks, but so is Jaden. He decided he wanted to do one as well. So we're doing it together. Couples that run together, stay together. Right, looks like I might be coming to the end. Let's hear what I've got to say about that.
I'm ready to finish. It's okay. Hard work.
Yeah, that wasn't English, was it? I think I must have been quite tired. Oh, look, here I go. I'm finishing. Ah, the single ladies. The single ladies. Well, there you go. I did it. 10 miles down. Bosh. Not a bad time either. Pretty happy with that. Things are looking peachy for this half marathon. Because that was going to be another question. Like, why do people want to go through that as a sport? Like,
I suppose you could ask it about any sport. Like any sport at a high level takes a massive amount of sacrifice.
True.
And you do it for, and the answer to that would be various depending on who you're asking. I know the first time I competed, the big thing for me was, it was a huge achievement because I'd had all those years of being super insecure about my body. Like, to stand on stage in a pair of shorts and be judged on it was just a big kind of win for me.
Yeah.
I was raised Catholic. I like suffering.
Yeah, mad. Go into the
Bit of
culture.
self-flagellation. Look, there's all sorts of potential mental, emotional issues with bodybuilding. There's also some really wonderful things about it. And I think one of them is that ability to endure, or basically not having everything we want all the time, and there being an outcome for it, and just going, oh right, okay, this is the result of that.
For me, I know that the whole of the series is actually about these goals or ambitions that I've had and just dropped for whatever reason. There's been a multitude of reasons, some of them valid, some of them not. And it's kind of about that seeing things through, I guess. And so for me, that's part of the journey. 12 weeks, I'm over halfway done. That's mental. As we know from last time, my latest DEXA scan puts me at 17.6% body fat. I started the challenge at 90.1 kg and now I'm weighing in at 81.7 kg, which is a total loss of 8.4 kg. That's only 0.4 kg loss in the last 2 weeks. So I've decided to look at the calories. The previous calories are coming down. And I've used the coached feature on the Macro Factor app, as it has all my data on my input and my output. And here's what it suggested me. My calories are now 1,844. This puts my protein at 179 grams, my carbohydrates at 143 grams, and my fats at 61 grams. It does seem like I'm getting down to the business end of the challenge now, because those calories, they seem pretty low, considering the amount of exercise I'm doing. In order to reach 10% body fat, I'll need to lose 7.6%. That equates to around 5 kilograms of body fat, which means I'd end the challenge at around 76.7 kilograms. However, as we know, it's unlikely that I'll only lose body fat in that process, so the real number would likely be a lot lower.